Thank you, Emma, for that very generous introduction. Thank you all for the very warm welcome. Sustainability. What does that word really mean? Is it really that important? And what can any one person, one company, or even one industry really do to make a meaningful difference? So ever since we launched our sustainability program at Riversun back in 2013, so those are the three questions I'm most frequently asked. So I'm guessing a few of you may still have those questions, so that's what I'm going to try and answer those over the next 14 odd minutes. So question number one, sustainability. What does it really mean? Now I know for a lot of people that's a problematic term. And it's no wonder really if you think of the amount of corporate greenwash that we've all been exposed to over the last 20 years. Clicker here. And I can think of no better example of the misappropriation of the word sustainability than this. This is a thing. That's from their homepage of the Facebook, of their website. How come, you're probably asking, how come such a thing exists? Roundup, or glyphosate, was first released in the United States in 1975. 1996 in Australia, the first wheat species to develop resistance to glyphosate appeared. Today there are 38 wheat species resistant to glyphosate, found in 37 countries, across 34 different crops. So if your farming system relies on herbicides, that's a very big problem. If you're a global agribusiness company whose profits are underpinned by the sales of the number one selling herbicide in the world, that's also a really big problem. Go on their website. Membership is made up of members, representatives from Monsanto, Syngenta, Bayer, Novartis, Pioneer Seeds. So it's obviously a big problem. But then, they're trying to figure out how to be able to continue to use glyphosate for a very extended period of time. I think you'll all agree that's probably not the definition of sustainability that we might have in mind. But I just put that up as an example of why some people are troubled by the word sustainability. So before I share with you our definition of sustainability, I'll tell you a bit of our backstory of how we got to launch that project in 2013. 2007, I took my family, we lived in Burgundy for 8 months on a sabbatical, after 25 years of building Riversun. And I had a lot of time to do the helicopter thinking, the big picture thinking, a lot of reading. And I've always worried about what we're doing to the planet, but by then I was getting pretty freaked out, to be honest. The evidence was overwhelming, and it was pretty clear to me back then that we were, as Homo sapiens, we're going to hell in a basket, but taking planet Earth to hell in a basket. So when I returned in 2008, we launched a BHAG. I'm a big fan of BHAGs, big hairy audacious goals. And we decided that we were going to, Riversun was going to become an organic nursery by 2012 and biodynamic by 2015. That might not sound such a big hairy audacious goal when you think of all the organic vineyards, biodynamic vineyards out there. But no grapevine nursery in the world had ever attempted to achieve this. So it was big for us. No sooner than we launched that, two major events sideswiped the New Zealand wine industry. The vintage of 2008, a 60% increase in Sauvignon Blanc production in 1 year. For any company, let alone industry, that's a huge increase. And it coincided with the arrival of the global financial crisis crashing onto the shores of New Zealand in September after the Salomon Brothers collapse. So what did that mean to we mere mortal nurserymen? It was devastating. We went from 30 nurseries supplying this industry with groundbreak grapevines down to 4. The 4 of us who chose to hang in there went through a 90% fall in business. So the BHAG was suddenly the ability to pay our bills for an extended period of time. So we parked the organics and biodynamics, but 2012 demand returned with a vengeance, and straight away we kicked into really focusing on our organics program. And by 2013, I kept going, there's some externalities not captured by organics and biodynamics, and that's been talked about earlier today, things like our waste stream, things like our carbon footprint. I kept coming back to sustainability as the right word, but I, like many people, was troubled by that. So I thought, bugger it, we're going to reclaim it, we're going to redefine it, and this is what we came up with. If we can't be doing the same thing on the same land, in the same community, and on the same planet in 100 and in 1,000 years, then it's not sustainable. So rather than being prescriptive, what you can and can't do, this was looking through a lens of every single thing we did every day and say, can we still do that in 100 years, in 1,000 years? If not, figure it out. And we gave ourselves till 2020. And the Māori language has a wonderful word, Toitu, which basically means enduring, permanent, essentially eternally sustainable. So a lot of the Cambridge English Dictionary defines sustainability. They talk about extended period of times or long periods of times. We figured, I love Toitu, it's for eternity. So that's our definition of sustainability. Question number 2. Is it really that important? Now, Steve Smith put up a great presentation this morning, that clip, talking about the chart with the sufferers of CCDD, I think it was, Steve. And I think most of you in the room are well aware of the importance of, or the impact of climate change and the importance of sustainability, but I'm going to hit you with some facts to spur all of us into action. First one. Oh, sorry, it's 2020. I was born 1957. Population of the world is about 2.8 billion. Today it's 7.5 billion and well on track towards 10 billion. So it's almost tripled in my lifetime. Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, we have destroyed 80% of indigenous forests. And we're still knocking down 20,000 hectares a day. Desertification. We're losing about 33,000 hectares of land a day to deserts. That's a photo from China where they're trying to stop the march of deserts. 33,000 hectares a day. Salinisation of soil through poor farming practices, the build-up of salt in the soil so you can no longer crop it, another 2,000 hectares a day. Compared to those other numbers, that doesn't sound a lot, but over the last 20 years, that's an area the size of France. So that's from the land, which is where we get most of our food. What about the oceans? We're pulling 175 million tonnes of fish a year out of the oceans, and it's widely predicted by 2050 there'll be total collapse. 2050 we think is a long way away. It's only 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Where were you 30 years ago? It's not far away, folks. We all know about bleaching of coral reefs. These are the nurseries for so much of the fish life. Again, by 2050, they're predicting that at least half of them will be coral reefs will be destroyed as a result of warming, sea temperatures, rising sea levels, acidification and pollution. And the hoary chestnut plastic, 8 million tonnes a year washing into our oceans. 8 million tonnes. So we're doing a pretty damn good job of trashing the oceans as well. So what about the air we breathe? Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, CO2 levels have gone from 275 parts per million to now over 400 parts per million. And how have we done that? Largely by burning fossil fuels. I didn't realise until I researched for this presentation, we drill and burn 100 million barrels of oil a day. Not a year, a day. How much is that? The Niagara Falls flowed at full volume for 27 days. That's how much fossil fuel oil that we are drilling out of the earth and burning. So, what does all that do? That all contributes to the greenhouse gas effect. CO2 is our number 2 greenhouse gas after water vapour. A recent paper published out of Oxford University calculated the amount of heat absorbed by our oceans in the last 150 years. 93% of all the heat this planet accumulates through the greenhouse gas effect from man's contribution to the greenhouse gas effect ends up in the oceans. So in the last 150 years, to simplify it, using a metric of one Hiroshima atomic bomb explosion as a unit of heat. If you took all the heat the oceans accumulated in 150 years, divided evenly across that 150 years, one Hiroshima-sized atomic bomb every second is the amount of heat in captured in our oceans. If that's not bad, the last 20 years, it's the rate of 4 atomic bombs per second. So is it any wonder it's sweltering outside, that we're breaking heat records around the world, forest fires? So I put all these up just kind of to scare you, but really just spur you into action. And basically, Donald, get with the program. So I hope that's answered my second question, is sustainability important? We've got to figure this out. So question number 3, what can any one person or company or industry do about that? So to answer that, I'll just quickly share some of the things we've done. As I said, we kicked off with organics with a vengeance in 2012. The first thing we did, we got rid of herbicides. Replaced that was low-hanging fruit. We replaced it with push hose and cultivation. And the next thing even before that, the next one we focused on a spray program. We went to a totally organic spray program. Once we got coverage sorted out, we went 100% that within a couple of years. The third thing was all our synthetic fertiliser program. We completely eliminated synthetic fertilisers from our field nursery operation and replaced those with organic ferts. Resting our ground every third year, growing a wide range of green crops to maintain about 8 to 10% organic matter, and really looking after the soil microbiome. Companion planting, you see the list of them along the side of shoulder belts there. Compost, make about 500 tonne a year of compost and put that onto our source blocks. Side throw mowing and our rootstock blocks and signwood blocks. So those are sort of things on the land, but I talked before about sustainability, trying to capture some of the externalities. We lay about 200 to 250 kilometres a year of black polymulch each season. And because of the soil contamination, it can't be recycled. So we said, well, clearly we can't do that for the next 100 and next 1,000 years. So we started experimenting with paper mulches, paper fibre mulches, biodegradable plastic mulches, and we ended up thinking that straw mulch, this is an R&D trial we did. So last year we grew 15 hectares of oat straw, baled it, pasteurised it, laid it out, spread it by hand in some of our bays. To do the entire nursery would require 65,000 conventional bales. So we're still working on it. We think we have another solution. So those are a lot of things we've done. Like I say, we've adopted and adapted a lot of practices from organic viticulture, the sort of things Jonathan's talked about. I really want to share with you now the three key surprising lessons we've got from that. The first one was when we changed to organic spray program, we halved our cost of disease control. We got better control for half the price. I was under the understanding that when we went into this program, it was the right thing to do, but it was going to be expensive. In fact, we found we've halved that cost. That's in the nursery environment, and I can talk more about that later if people want to know. Second surprising thing, our organic fertiliser program. Initially, we replaced nitrogen, instead of synthetic forms, we replaced it with organic forms. The same amount of nitrogen was already 20% cheaper. Within 2 years, we found we could reduce it 50%. And by next year, we will add no nitrogenous fertilisers to our system whatsoever. Again, if you want to know more about it, see me later. But really surprising to really encouraging fact. Third one, which I should have talked about, our carbon zero, our carbon footprint. We started investigating this about 12 months ago because we were very concerned about our carbon footprint. We signed, it's a great pleasure to announce today that we are now just gone carbon zero under the New Zealand Carbon Zero program. The surprising thing about that was I thought that would be expensive. I knew it's the right thing to do, but I thought it was going to cost us a lot of money. 10% of gross revenue? No. 1% of gross revenue? No. The cost to us to be in the carbon zero program, that's where we are offsetting with accredited carbon credits, is 0.1% of our gross revenue. We sell vines for, say, $5.50. It's about half a cent a vine. Put that in perspective, the minimum wage in New Zealand is about to go up $1.20 an hour. That's going to cost us 15 cents a vine. Watch the pricing rate. But when I look at that, people want to all the scaremongering and the rhetoric we read that going carbon neutral is going to kill the world economy. How can we possibly do this? Who's putting out that message? What we have found, I could not believe how low cost that was. And that includes the accreditation costs and everything else. If the price of carbon goes to $50 a tonne, we'll still be under 2 cents per line. What's the problem? So I think it begs the question of what are we all waiting for? So hopefully I've answered the question. That's our definition of sustainability. Why it's so important, not only to us, but I think to everybody. And hopefully that definition of sustainability resonates with you, and that you can go forward into your days and look at everything you do every day through that lens and say, can I still be doing this in 100 and 1,000 years? And hopefully you're encouraged by some things we've learned. It's not as hard as you think. It's pretty damn cool. I'll finish with a quote by Native American chief Seattle, who said, you've probably all heard this, but we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. With that, I'd like to acknowledge my key inspiration behind all this, my wonderful grandchildren. Thank you.